Hi, this is Jocelyn Matthews from the community team at Storj Labs, and I'm here with Dylan. Dylan is one of our community leads on the team. And do you want to say hi?
Hey,
Hey. So we pivoted again on the format of Q&A. Everybody who is speaking is in a different location. So what we did was we actually created the Q&A as a blog, and the link for it is in the description. And you can see all the answers to the questions that we collected written out in long form. But in addition to that, we also wanted to give the personal touch and come through for our community just to connect during this time. So what we're going to do is pick the top 5 questions from Q&A. And again, if you want the full scoop, just go check out the blog post. It seems like every time we do the Q&A, it seems to get longer. So in the interest of time, we're just doing the top questions here. Dylan, what's the first question?
yeah, one of the top 5 questions we had was why are the old nodes that have lived on the network for a year considered new on the new satellites?
Okay, so each satellite individually vets all of the storage nodes with which it works. And that function is an artifact of the decentralized nature of the network. Tardigrade satellites operated by Storj Labs will behave the same as community-run satellites.
Cool. Another question we have is when will support for Synology be released, and is there any beta or testing version?
Yeah, this question comes up a lot. We get a lot of interest around NAS and QNAP, and we actually have some good news there. So we're working on support for a number of NAS hardware manufacturers. QNAP was the most requested NAS from the community, and we've been focusing really heavily on that. But Synology and Western Digital won't be far behind. So we're working on both being able to back your NAS up to the tardigrade platform and using your NAS as a storage node, so sharing extra hard drive space and bandwidth with the network.
Sweet. Next question is it possible to have more nodes, for example, different storage, different IP address, registered under one email address?
Yes. And this, again, is a question that comes up a lot in the community. People just want to know how far can they go with it. The answer is yes, you can have more nodes under one email address. You can operate multiple nodes under the same or different IP addresses. Every node's going to be required to meet the minimum requirements, of course, and you need to make sure that each node has a different physical storage connected. You do need to use the same wallet address for all of the nodes that are operated by one person or legal entity. But other than that, there's no reason that you can't operate multiple storage nodes. Going off that, we're going to be simplifying the node registration steps soon, and that will eliminate the email-based registration. We're still going to want an email from everybody so that we can send you notices, but you won't need an email just to create a storage node identity, and that's going to be happening pretty soon.
Sweet. So how will SLA be put across for large customers or enterprises?
Okay, so our SLA is published in our tardigrade terms of service, and you can look that up very easily. We're able to maintain our SLA for availability based on the scalability of components operated by Storj Labs, in addition to our expertise in operating our software. So the automated functions such as storage node audit, uptime checks, and file repair, those are what allow us to ensure the durability of data stored on the tardigrade platform.
Cool. All right. So another question is if Storj keeps 3 redundant copies of a file shard, then how does the supplier get paid or affected? And how does it affect the consumers? So in simple words, who bears the cost?
Okay, that's a good question. And first, I just want to clarify that the network doesn't store 3 redundant copies of a file on the network. And we've written a lot of blog posts on the difference between replication and erasure encoding. So to fully understand the situation, it's good to have a handle on what those 2 terms actually technically refer to, and I can add those blog posts in the description box. We only erasure code data for redundancy and don't use replication. So let me go into what that means. With erasure code, Each file is broken into a minimum of 80 pieces. And of those 80 pieces, only 29, and they can be any 29 pieces, are required to recover the file. The erasure coding redundancy results in an expansion factor of 276%. So just to keep the math really simple, what that means is that a 1 gigabyte file uploaded by a customer is actually stored at 2.76 gigabytes. So the cost structure for this redundancy is built into the pricing model. Satellite operators can structure their price cost model however they want, but tardigrade satellites pay storage node operators at a different rate than customers are charged to store data on the network. Overall, the goal is to provide excellent service for the customers, offer complete availability and durability to other cloud services, and of course, superior security, privacy, and economics. Those are all great goals, and the reason that we can do that is because we don't have to build and operate expensive data centers. So what we do instead is we fairly compensate storage node operators for the storage and the bandwidth used by the network. Between the different fees that we pay to storage nodes for the storage, the bandwidth, data repair, and audit bandwidth, our goal is to pay out about 60 cents per dollar to the network.
Well, thanks for that. Those were the top 5 questions that we picked for the Q&A. And then, Jocelyn, do you want to go over some of the forum activity we've been seeing? Give some shout outs?
Yeah, sure. And we can even do that together. So the first shout out would be to fmoledina. This is actually really exciting. So this member of the community created a guide for connecting to tardigrade via FTP to push recorded video and still images from PoE security cameras. And it's not just exciting because it's a cool project, it's also exciting that it's coming from one of our community members. So what we're hoping over time is that we're going to see more and more people sort of coming up with their own ideas and exploring their own code to create things that are going to kind of push the envelope a little or test out concepts. And it's just such a great feeling for, I know, the whole team when we see that somebody is doing something like that. And when we bring it back to our coworkers inside Storj in the engineering team, it's so exciting for them to see that they're doing these things that are impacting people in the real world and that aren't just reaching people in the real world, that people are taking it and running with it. It's kind of like after taking so long to get to production and build something out, it's kind of the best feeling you can have as a creator. So super shout out to fmoledina. I also wanted to mention around forum activity that we have the COVID storage program. And this is an initiative by Storj that offers free storage, STORAGE, to people who are researchers working on COVID. And we've been getting some really great response so far. We're getting a little bit of attention from the press, which is flattering. But what's even better is that we're getting the word out to people who could really benefit from this and are working on something that's so important. And then the next thing I would say is the voting categories are being expanded. Do you want to talk about that, Dylan, or do you want me to?
You can go ahead and talk about that.
Okay. So we're expanding the voting category, and what that means is we are sunsetting the AHA roadmap. So AHA is the roadmap that we were using to solicit suggestions and sort of mash them into the roadmap. What we're doing is we're actually taking that and putting it in the forum so that it really lives in the same place that the community does. And you can vote on topics, and the ones that get upvoted the most are seen and tracked by our PMs, and they're considered when we are talking about what features to add and when to add them. There's going to be one section for tardigrade. Well, there is one section for tardigrade, and there's one for snows. So you can sort of put your idea into the right category. And if you have an idea that doesn't fit into one of those categories, or if you have an idea that doesn't really need to be voted on, like you just want us to hear your thoughts, you can just put that into the ideas and suggestions category. And then finally, a super shout out to our awesome moderator and community lead Knowledge, who has created a Windows Snow tutorial. And that's a full guide for like everything that you need to get a storage node going on Windows, and you can follow along in real time if you want to. It's a pretty long video, about 45 minutes, just super packed with all kinds of information and incredibly well put together, an incredible resource. So thank you to Knowledge. And I'd say that's it for our updates. In conclusion, if you want to join our community, for anyone who's listening, you probably found us through the community, but if you didn't, come on over and join. And it's an easy URL to remember. It's just forum.storj.io. And if you have ideas for partnerships or business or anything like that that you'd like to contact us with, just email us. And that email is partnerships@storj.io. We have some really cool live events that are coming up. Due to COVID, they're all virtual. So you can look for us at Open Source Summit. And we're also going to be at the Time Series Database Summit, which is an InfluxDB event. And both of those are in late June, early July. We're going to be posting all the details in the forum. A really cool thing about Open Source Summit this year is that in addition to pivoting to virtual, they've also greatly expanded the number of tickets available and dropped the price to $50. And so a cool thing about that for our community is that I think it's going to open up access to a lot of people who might be really cost conscious, that wouldn't want to pay for a ticket, pay for a hotel, pay a high price to attend an event. And a lot of these people are going to be coming in with a really different, fresh, ambitious, cost-conscious mentality. And a lot of them might be interested in our product as a result, who would not normally be attending that event. Plus, we're getting all the usual attendees. So we're really excited about that. Running a virtual booth, because I also sponsor the events here, is going to be a whole new learning curve for me and the team. So please, if you do come to the event, drop by our virtual booth. It's going to be gamified, and that's really all I can say for now, but I'm trying to think of like the coolest things that we can do to keep people engaged. So come find us on the forum, come find us online at the virtual events, and if all else fails, send us an email, and we'd love to hear from you. Until next time, thank you.